Hey guys, welcome to December 12th, 2012, the last redundant date sequence we will ever see, unless for some horrible reason we live into the 22nd century. In this video, I figured it's well time to answer a question that nobody has asked me actually, but I figure deserves an answer anyway, and that is, what in God's name is with all the fluorescent light videos? I figure the best way to answer this is basically to tell you my life story. Pretty much all my entire life, and I can remember back to when I was a toddler, I have had an interest in electric lighting. I never knew why, I still don't know why, I just did. Back when I was little, it wasn't stuff like flashlights and lanterns like it is now, but when I was little I had a fascination with streetlights because I had noticed that there were many different types of streetlights that emitted different colors of light, and I thought that was really cool. I didn't know why there were different colors of street lights, but I just knew there were, and I thought it was cool. And of course now I do know why. It's simply different technologies. You got your mercury vapor lamps, they emit the bluish light, and you got your high pressure sodium lamps, they emit the orangish light, and then you got your low pressure sodium lamps, which emit this really horrible dark orange color. And they're kind of going out of style, but they're still used in some places because they're extremely energy efficient. But at any rate, I had a very big fascination with streetlights. I thought it was really cool. I remember at that time I had a fascination with flags too. I had an interest in all the flags of different countries and stuff, and I knew what countries many flags were for, and ironically I don't think I could remember what I knew then as a toddler. I don't think I could remember that anymore. But yes, it started with a fascination of streetlights, and as I got older that spread to other lights. I remember when I was little, my grandparents in their house, one of their ceiling lights was this sort of cylindrical shaped light. It looks kind of like this unit, and it was on a dimmer, and I thought it looked pretty cool, and I thought the use of a dimmer was cool. That was pretty sure that was the first time that I had seen a lamp used on a dimmer switch, and I thought it was really cool being able to have complete control over how much power was fed to the light. And that fixture has since been replaced. But as I grew older, it sort of expanded into ceiling lights, and I started showing interest in specific types of ceiling lights. In my father's house, there were three or four different fluorescent ceiling light fixtures. One was your standard rapid start fixture that was in the kitchen that most people know about, rapid starts. Well, at the time I was a kid, rapid start was the most popular fluorescent technology. Now it's instant start, which isn't quite as interesting, but anyhow, in the kitchen there was your standard 80-watt rapid start fixture, and then in the bathroom there was a preheat fixture. Now at the time I didn't know what preheat, I never heard of preheat. I didn't know why different fluorescent lights turned on different ways anyway, but I just knew in the bathroom we had this cool fixture that went blinkety blink blink when you turned it on. That fixture was a sort of a pancake shaped light that had two 13-watt PL bulbs in it. PL bulbs are those U-shaped fluorescent bulbs. It had two of them in it, 13-watt bulbs, I think. When I was about 10, that fixture was replaced with another 80-watt rapid start fluorescent fixture that didn't work very well. I don't think Dad grounded it properly when he put it in, because it didn't like to start, and rapid start fixtures generally need to be grounded to start properly. And yeah, and also in another room of Dad's house, there was a, it was a standard Edison light socket, but Dad had an old 13 watt PL adapter screwed into it. It was a preheat adapter, and I thought that was cool. I thought it was interesting, this blinkety blink that some fluorescent lamps did when you turned them on, and then some other lamps you just turn them on, they'd be dim for a second, and then they'd come on. And then around that time when instant start fixtures were just starting to become popular, I noticed these lights that would turn on the instant you flipped the switch. But anyway, I thought it was cool, and I took notice of the different colors of bulbs too. I'd noticed you had your daylight bulbs, which are the bluish color, you had your cool white bulbs, and then you had your warm white bulbs, which are the pinkish color. And by the way, I still have that old 13 watt PL adapter. It is still in use today. It's a Sylvania adapter from the 1980s, and unfortunately the original Sylvania bulb broke when I was taking it home. It has a new bulb in it now, and it's in use in the basement, and it works just fine. And I'll make a video of it someday. So around this time, when I was, I guess, 7 or 8 years old, and I started to get an interest in fluorescent lights and the different types of them, my grandfather showed me something that I thought was really cool. Now, my grandfather, he has an interest in electronic stuff too, and he figured I would like this, and I sure as heck did. It was a 1950s or 1960s, he still has it and it still works, fluorescent desk lamp. It was one of these lamps with the gooseneck on it, and then it had the bulb suspended in the air, and it was a manual preheat. So what you did was you held down the on button, and the ends of the bulb would glow because the filaments would heat up, and then when the ends glowed for a second or two, you let go of the button and the bulb would start up. And I thought that was totally cool, just how there was actually a little more thought to turning the lamp on, because if you didn't heat the filaments for long enough, you let go of the button and the lamp wouldn't start up. It would flicker a bit and then go out. So I thought that was really cool. It's either an F14 T8 or an F14 T12, that lamp is, and it's got a daylight bulb in it, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's the original bulb. That lamp's from the 50s or 60s, and I thought that was pretty cool. And also, that bulb has a little bit of its phosphor on the inside of the bulb is just gone for some reason. There's a patch about like that big of no phosphor on the bulb, and it was right near the end of the bulb where the filament is. So for the very first time, I could see a fluorescent lamp's filament, and when I held down the start button, I could see the filament glow orange, and I thought that was really, really cool. So around that time, I did not know battery-powered fluorescent lamps existed, but I did start having an interest in incandescent flashlights and incandescent lanterns, and around that time I started acquiring a few different incandescent and krypton flashlights and lanterns. And then my love for battery-powered fluorescent lanterns was started and permanently sealed in me when I discovered and was given my very first battery-powered fluorescent lantern, which I still have today, and it was also my grandfather's. It is a cheap Chinese generic brand multi-lantern with a 6-watt fluorescent lamp on it, and my grandfather had it, and the original bulb in it, it had an F6T5D, I remember. The original bulb was burned out. It wouldn't work anymore at all. And my grandfather brought this to me, and he said, the bulb's burned out, you can probably find a new bulb for it, and this lamp's all yours. And I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. I thought it was so cool because I'll have to make a video of it someday. I think I've shown it briefly in other videos, but it's got a Krypton flashlight on the end, and then on the belly of it's the 6-watt fluorescent lamp, and then it's got these red and yellow flashers on it. It's like a 12-in-1 lantern or something, and I think it was made by a company called John Light, which made a lot of different lanterns for different companies, and that company would put their brand name on it, but this thing has no brand name at all. So I thought that was totally cool, and shortly after I got my lantern, I remember this, Dad and I went to a hardware store. I forget where it was. It would have been either a Home Hardware or it would have been Johnson's Hardware in Calais, Maine. And that was the first time I bought fluorescent bulbs. I remember Dad and we found replacement fluorescent bulbs, and we found a package of 2 Rayovac F6T5 CW bulbs. At least it had Rayovac on the package. The bulbs probably weren't made by Rayovac, probably made by some other company for Rayovac, but and we had nothing to go by at the time. I did not bring the old bulb with me. I only had a memory of how long it was. Luckily, we bought the right bulb. But I remember that we took a package of those 2 bulbs off the shelf, and later I looked in the shopping cart and I noticed that one of the bulbs was broken. And I'm like, Dad, there's a broken bulb in this package. And he's like, well, take it back and get the one behind it. So that's what I did. So yeah, I bought those bulbs for that lantern, and I put one of the new bulbs in. We didn't know at the time that that fluorescent bulbs could be installed either way. We thought they only went one way. So what Dad did was he took a knife and he scratched an X in the plastic of the lantern, and he scratched another X in the bulb, so he knew that this particular end of the bulb went into this particular end of the lantern. So the bulb must have had some sort of etching on it. So we took the new bulb, installed it the same way, turned on the lantern, and it fired right up. And that was the first battery-powered fluorescent lantern I ever owned. I still have it, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And ironically, now I think it's a piece of crap. Which it really was. It severely underdrives the bulb. I still have both of those Rayovac bulbs, the first fluorescent bulbs I ever bought. This was in like 2003. I still have those bulbs. Both of them are extremely worn out. Neither of them have any filament left in them, but they still work if whatever fixture I put them in happens to push enough juice through them to start them. But yeah, after that it just sort of embedded in me, and I never lost a love of fluorescent lanterns. I bought my second battery-powered unit when I was, I think, 10. It was a General Electric 8-watt closet light. And back then, they had a AC adapter jack in them, so you could plug an AC adapter into them, which I thought was pretty great, because the thing sucked down batteries pretty fast, and it took 8 AA batteries, so. And I thought that lantern was pretty cool. Unfortunately, it quit working. It let out this magic smoke one day. But for some reason, I don't know why, and I don't know why my mother let me, but for some reason, I kept the bulb. Because the bulb was still good, and I still have the bulb, and the bulb still works fine, and the bulb lives on in my new General Electric 8-watt lantern now. So, yeah, I kept the bulb. But, yeah, so after that, long story short, I started acquiring different battery-powered fluorescent lanterns. I've had 2 4-watt General Electric closet lights. Both of them have since broken and have been thrown away. For some reason I didn't keep the bulbs. I wish I had now, because I sure as heck could have used them. I got that yellow lantern. That was the thing. All these battery-powered lights I was getting were kind of crap. They didn't have great build quality. General Electric, the lights weren't even made. The closet lights they make aren't even made by them. They're made by some Chinese company, and GE sticks their symbol on them. And yeah, I was getting fed up with pretty much all the same problems that these battery-powered fluorescent lights I had were giving me. Basically, they wore out batteries really fast. The batteries weren't even that run down when the lights would quit starting, and really I just got fed up with it, and for a few years I kind of lost interest in battery powered fluorescent lamps. I figured they really weren't worth my money and time anymore, because they just really didn't work that well. And of course at that time I didn't know that higher quality units could be bought. Back then, Energizer was still making the folding fluorescent lantern, which is a very good unit. If I had found and bought one of those back in the day, that would have certainly rekindled my faith in them. But yeah, for a few years I kind of just stuck to incandescent lanterns, and I'd see fluorescent lamps in stores and I'd be like, no, that'll work for a while, and then the bulb will get black at the end. I didn't know why fluorescent bulbs got black at the end back then, but I just knew, yeah, it'll get black in the end, and then it'll quit starting most of the time, and yeah, not worth my money. And then, about a year ago, I discovered the online flashlight museum, and I discovered that even back as far back as the 1960s, that battery-powered fluorescent lanterns were being made. So I thought, I wonder, just where I have this general bias against old stuff because I have found that old stuff is usually built much better than new stuff, I thought, well, what if a really old fluorescent lantern works a lot better than a new fluorescent lantern? And that is when I bought this thing. And that was the end of it. I bought the Rayovac Magnum, and I just completely restarted my love of battery-powered fluorescent lamps, and that's when all the fluorescent lamp-related videos started too, because when I bought the Magnum and saw how well it worked, I decided that I wanted to gain some knowledge on how fluorescent lamps work. So I've done a ton of reading over the past few months, and I know a lot about fluorescent lamps now. I know about the different bulb types, the different bulb colors, the different starting methods, magnetic and electronic ballasts, and now that I know all this stuff, and I'm able to apply that stuff to fluorescent lights I see every day, I like to make videos and show people that stuff. I like to entertain you with stuff like this, because I know many of my viewers like vintage electronic videos. I like to educate you guys on perhaps certain phenomena that you may notice happening to a fluorescent lamp, such as when a lamp fails or wears out and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And the thing is, all my life I have hidden my love of fluorescent lamps and lanterns and flashlights in general from everybody. I knew it wasn't normal. I still know it's not normal. It definitely is not a normal thing for a young adult man to be interested in. And I kept it quiet for most of my life. The first fluorescent lamp videos that you guys have seen, that is the very first time in my entire life that I demonstrated my interest in this stuff to anybody, ever. Including my own parents. Now, my mother probably has always had the idea that I've had a true interest in this stuff because I've bought so many things related to it over time, but I've never gone outright and told her, just simply because I find it really hard to tell this stuff to anybody. I still find it hard to tell this stuff to anybody in person. It's great to be able to do it here in private on camera, and then I can put it on YouTube and let the whole world know. Because I think the only embarrassment really is just the act of telling people. But another thing that inspired me to start sharing my interest in this stuff with the world was when I discovered YouTube users like Diesel Doocy, who makes a crap ton of fluorescent lamp videos. He has hundreds of them, hundreds of fluorescent light videos, and other YouTube users like Parrot175 and Seaber Husky, and YouTube users like that who make some videos of fluorescent lamps. And I thought, well, you know, I discovered that I'm not completely crazy. I'm not the only person in the world with an interest in this stuff. In fact, when I found websites like Lighting Gallery and Candle Power forums, I discovered that I'm one of perhaps thousands of people in the world who have an interest in this stuff. And really now, I'm glad that I have an interest in this stuff, because life is extremely interesting when those hundreds of things on the ceiling are what interest you. So, yeah, I think it's pretty darn cool, and I'm glad I have an interest in this stuff. It's a very cheap hobby, too, because right now on eBay, lots of vintage battery-powered lanterns like the Rayovac Magnum. I've seen 3 or 4 Magnums on eBay right now, so if you ever have an interest in something like this, look on the American eBay. And in fact, at the time of making this video, there's I think 2 on eBay right now. And so yeah, it's definitely a very cheap hobby, because they don't fetch a lot of money on eBay. But yeah, that's about it. I've just basically decided that, you know, once I found out that it's really not a totally uncommon interest, I thought, well, why not make videos about it? Because I do love making videos about that stuff. I don't know how many of my viewers love watching videos of that stuff, but of course watching is entirely optional. And I do know at least a couple of my viewers do have an interest in that stuff. So, what does all this mean for my YouTube videos? Well, it definitely means that there are going to be many more fluorescent light videos to come, especially after Christmas, wink wink. As a matter of fact, I have already filmed another video, kind of a funny video, I think. I'll probably get that up after I get this video up. But there's definitely, what I want everyone to know is that I have not lost my love of computers or electronics of other sorts. There are many more computer videos to come, and many more general electronics videos to come. As a matter of fact, I have so many things that I've never shown you guys on video before that I've actually forgotten some of the stuff that I have that I've never made videos of, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna make a video about that when I get home. So, yeah, there are many more electronics videos to come, but many more fluorescent light videos to come too, because I have a feeling that's gonna be a new, possibly a new permanent thing on here. Well, maybe not permanent, because basically I'll put this out there. After this Christmas, my fluorescent light collection is pretty much literally complete. I will have owned every fluorescent light that I've ever wanted, pretty much. So it'll pretty much be complete. So maybe not many fluorescent light videos after I make videos of the fixtures I'll be getting this Christmas. But definitely lots of computer and electronics videos to come. What I want everyone to take from this video is that don't hide something that you have an interest in, even if it's not mainstream or what everyone else is interested in. Because I have a feeling that when someone is forced to hide their feelings or their interests, they're forced to bottle up what they like in order to try and fit in with the mainstream, that's where depression and other bad things start to happen. Now, luckily for me, despite my hiding of this love for electric lighting that I have done for the past 10 years, 15 years, I don't think that made me depressed in any way, because really it's just a really personal hobby anyway. But what I want, if any of you take anything from this video, take it that if you have an interest in something that's not mainstream, that's okay, and I encourage you to demonstrate it anyway. Because there are many people in the world who have an interest probably like yours. There are people on YouTube who have interests in elevators. Now, and what I find weird is most people on YouTube who have an interest in fluorescent lighting also have an interest in elevators, and I don't particularly have an interest in elevators. I like to ride the elevator when I am feeling lazy, but other than that, I do not have a fascination with elevators. But indeed, some people do. There are people who have an interest in electric fans. In fact, I do as well, just not as much as I have an interest in electric lighting. But yeah, if you have an interest, or you know a lot about something that's not mainstream, that's okay. As a matter of fact, that's awesome, because individuality is cool. And the wonderful thing about the internet is you can demonstrate that, and generally, except when some asshole comes along, generally you're not going to get made fun of. As a matter of fact, quite the opposite. People who have an interest like yours are going to come over and say, hey, that's really cool, show me more. So that's the one thing I want you to take from this video. Unfortunately for me, someone close to me was kind of weirded out by my interest in electric lighting, and that was my own father. I know for a fact that he thought my interest in this stuff was very strange. As a matter of fact, it made him quite angry once. I think I was talking to him about some light bulb I had bought, and he kind of just dropped the ball and asked me why the hell I always talk about light bulbs. I remember that made me quite upset, and he apologized later. But that was the last time I think I ever spoke about in public about that stuff, especially to him. But I don't blame him for it. Dad was an old-fashioned kind of guy. It was quite strange to him. Maybe someday, perhaps 80 years from now, I'll ask him what he thought about it as a whole. But yeah, but I don't blame him for that. And now, like every video that I make here at university, it is time for updates. First of all, I have ditched Apple Safari. I had found out about a month ago. I had no clue that Apple had discontinued Safari for Windows, a web browser that I have been using for about almost 3 years and that I enjoyed dearly. At the time I started using Safari, Google Chrome did not exist yet, and Safari was the fastest browser on the PC. Well, Google Chrome has that title now. Google Chrome's also the most popular browser in the world, and that's what I'm using now, and I love it a lot. Second of all, the Rayovac Magnum here has actually broken, sort of. I actually saw it coming, but this turn screw right here, half of it has actually broken off. It's staying together right now, but if I were to open the thing up to get to the battery compartment, half of this turn screw would fall out. I gotta super glue it. But yeah, unfortunately, it has broken. This bulb is wearing right the frig out. It's so black now that you can see it even when it's turned off. but it still works just fine. Once in a while I'll turn it on, and this where is it? This filament up here will start glowing right orangey red, which usually means that a bulb is about to catastrophically fail. But in this case, this bulb is still working, so that's quite interesting. Other than that, it is exam week right now. I should be studying rather than rambling on in this video. But my exam today does not start until 7 p.m. It's currently 2:30. It's a rather easy exam, I think. I just had a very hard, or not very hard, but a relatively hard exam yesterday morning. That was physics, and then this one tonight is computer science. And it's only a 2-hour exam too, whereas the other ones have been 3-hour exams, so that's very nice. But yeah, Robert's actually in an exam right now. It is exam week. It's currently December the 12th, and my last exam's on December the 17th, I think. Let me see. December the 18th. And then I can come home December the 19th, and then I will be home again until early January. And Christmas is going to be awesome. So, yeah, I guess I'll cut off this video here. I might edit it, or I might just get right to studying, but at any rate, I appreciate anyone who watched this video for listening to what I have to say today, and I will see you guys next time.